What's up, guys? Today I'm going to come with a new series. I'm going to try and post. I'll see how it goes for this first episode, but it's going to be how to budget in the Dragon Ball Super card game. Maybe you want to try and win your local tournament, but not drop so much money. Because obviously, if you want to do really good at a big event, you are going to have to spend some money on a good deck that can beat these high-tier decks. But obviously, it is possible to win your local or just have fun in the card game without having to spend, $1,000 like some of these Brawly decks are. Just as an example, you see, this deck obviously is running all the good cards at $1,000. Not everyone has this type of money to spend in a card game to do good, Just another example, obviously not as expensive as Brawly, but, $350, not many people can pay for this. So just an example of some decks that actually are performing very well in the meta and yet are still extremely cheap is Set 1 Golden Frieza. As you can see, deck price $55. Now obviously the side deck doesn't have Awakened Power Sun Goku in it, which is $300, but this deck, just the main board itself, wins games against Baby, against Hot Shock, against Brawly. So you don't need you don't think that you need the UI Goku in the side deck to win. Now if you do have the card, go ahead and add it. Obviously the card's really good, but this is an example of what you can do maybe in your side deck or just main board instead. Obviously, which is a really neat play, I think. You have Malicious Strike and then popping in with your leader effect to play out this Military Command Frieza, and then using this Frieza to block, and then or just popping it with the Frieza leader effect again if you awaken, and then playing out a Deadly Defender or this Frieza back from hell that can lock something in rest mode. Really strong. Obviously not super meta, but can catch a lot of people off guard. And obviously Cooler's really strong if you just want to throw in two Miras with the double strike Champas and then have the Coolers in and just go for that negate double strike and then just going for game like that. Another card obviously doing really good in the meta right now is Demigra. The main cost card is Turles and then obviously the secret rare, but for a secret rare, $50 isn't too bad. If you are thinking about running this deck, you might want to buy it sooner than later because these black decks are only getting better, so this card will only go up in price. So obviously the main card of the deck is this Demigra Overlord, playing out the Poutine and Gravy, and obviously this Overlord card, 20 cents, came out in one of the expansion sets, very cheap card. Then obviously Scientist Fu is pretty low right now, the SR is low, Dark Banisher, all this is pretty low, and then you just use all these cards to play out super early game and become a super aggro deck. And now obviously you still have your defense, Super Kamehameha being a really good card to warp a 3 or less. If they're trying to play Topo or something on your super aggro turn, you can save one for Super Kamehameha and then stop their play and then continue on being super aggro. This deck obviously wasn't mine. This was Brian Gomez, who did top 16, so congrats to him. Awesome deck and super cheap. Same thing with the Frieza. This is just the one I made because all the other ones ran Awakened Power in the side deck, so the deck was like $350. So now another meta deck that's actually pretty expensive, but obviously not as good as Baby. This is the budget, like starter deck Baby, I guess you could say. So obviously not as expensive, but not as good. Mainly, you got to play out this 3-drop Baby with this 2-drop. You just go from this guy, swap him in to the 2-drop, and then EX Evolve for free. Or if you're able to do 2 damage early to your opponent, you can play out Super Baby 1 for free, and then for 2 energy you can evolve into this 5-drop. This 5-drop, when you play him, obviously choose all opponent battle cards ignoring barrier and get their skills negated, and they can't be placed in the combo area, and he gains dual attack. So 25k dual attack, extremely strong. And then obviously you have the grade 8 Baby right here too. It's a rare, not expensive at all. Obviously this card is a starter deck, so if you get by a starter deck, you get most of these cards. You get both of these battle to the death. Another good way to remove big threats off the field. Now in the side deck, say you do have some, if you don't like maybe this engine, you can run this other budget engine really. This SR is a couple bucks, like $4 or $5. But compared to some of the other SRs, like Heartfelt Plea, who's $13, and Pan, who's $10, it's a pretty relative cheap SR. And all you do with this, you just run these 4-drop babies. You take out this package right here, this guy right here, and then this dude right here, and then you just throw in the 4, the 3, and then you throw in more brainwash cards. Now, obviously, whatever brainwash cards you like, you can add in. I just had these ones in. These are just random ones I picked. You do kind of want the red and blue count a little even. But usually you don't really need it for this deck, actually, because you don't run any revival. So if you do like Bulmas, you can go 4 Bulmas and 2 of her. And then if you wanted, you can run the uncommon baby leader if you wanted instead, and make it kind of the brainwash deck, which is extremely strong. The only real reason with problem is you don't have the 5 and the 6-drop Parasitic Menace like you do right here, which is a $30 card. Pretty expensive. So this deck can still do really strong. Obviously, you play defensive. Just search your whole deck with the babies and Muse, swing with your leader. And then you just play out these big guys. And obviously, you can add in these 4 and 5-drop babies. Even playing this guy out for 5, still a really strong card. This promo baby, he's not too expensive. And he's actually extremely strong. He is $3 or $4 for 2, so about $2 each. But reducing your opponent's leader card, which you can do with this 5-drop SR or the 7-drop Great Ape. And then you play him out for free and get another threat on field. So actually a really strong, either way, you can run either one of these in the deck. Now going on, obviously if you do have, for an example, say you got 1 Heartfelt Plea, 1 or 2 Heartfelt Pleas, you have a Pan or something like that. Obviously, you can just toss them into the deck. You can take out some extra, like, fodder cards maybe, in order to add them, because they are good cards. And even if you have, 1 Heartfelt Plea in the deck, just seeing him, because this guy's obviously 25k and this guy's 30, so you do have the potential to take him out with this. So you can run him. Obviously, you don't need 3 of a card to put it in the deck. So obviously, even just putting, maybe if you just have the Great Ape Whisperer, $9-10 card, but if you've pulled one, you can toss her in and then just play her when you awaken, and then now these guys can swing more. So the deck is obviously a little more inconsistent because you do run less babies and you have to go up this whole chain to get to this 5-drop. But it's still a fun deck. It can still win a lot of matchups. You just gotta pilot the deck well and then just understand like how to play it. Some other cards that are pretty expensive right now, obviously No Holds Barred. If you had one of them, you could toss it in. But that's pretty much it. I'm not going to try and make these videos too long. I just kind of want to go over the decks pretty quick. Hopefully next episode I'll go over more of just like archetypes. So for an example, like next episode I can do aggro archetypes, where I just go over cheap aggro decks that you can use, to win some games, go to your tournament, and have some fun without having to drop, obviously, all your money. But thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys thought about in the comments below. If you want to see a match maybe of me using this budget baby deck, I'm more than happy to. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.